Hi Aries, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your January 2021 tarot reading. Hope you guys have a good holiday season and a happy new year. And thank you to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. As far as personal readings go, I'm actually going to be bringing those back in January. So I'm recording this in December, but by the time we actually get to January, I'll make an update on the channel regarding the personal readings again. And as far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic Girl spread as always, and I also pulled a couple of Oracle cards and a Mudra card for you guys. So we'll get started with the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the Seven of Wands. So this is actually Leo energy here, which for you guys is your fifth house. So I could see this playing out a couple different ways. For one, could just be saying that you might just have a lot of work on your table. That's certainly a possibility. So, you could just maybe, for example, let's say you had some time off for the holidays, you come back on January 1st or 2nd or whatever, and all of a sudden everyone's trying to get you to, hey, could you help with this? Could you help with that? So that's one way I could see that playing out. But for others of you, it could just be pointing to recognition that you might be getting in general, but then also, having to defend yourselves on a view on some situation. So maybe you have a different approach. So let's just say this is a workplace thing, right? Could just be saying that you might have to defend a different approach that you wanted to take regarding your work, that it may very well be a better approach, but, people might just be set in their ways in the way they've always done it before. So that could be part of what's at conflict there. And the reason I'm seeing that as a potential situation is because in a challenge or obstacle position, we have the Hierophant. So the Hierophant usually represents tradition. Obviously, you can represent spirituality as well, but here I'm just seeing this as like the tried and true traditional methods of doing things. You guys might decide, you might have some sudden insights on, what, maybe we could approach this a different way, and there could just be a little bit of kickback on that. Now, the good thing is with that coming up in the main situation position and in the upright, usually it does represent successfully defending yourselves. So it could just be one of those things where, you might have to push a little bit to get them to see your way. But again, it's because they've probably just done it a certain way for so long that you coming in with a different approach might seem to throw them off. But that's what I'm seeing there. For others of you, this could just point to institutions in general, and maybe just rules in general that you might feel like are a bit restrictive to you guys at this time, and you might just kind of go against that. In the foundation position, we have the Five of Swords in reverse. So this is definitely a good card to see when it is in reverse, especially given what we were just talking about there, because it could just be saying that, if things start to devolve into like a more of a, where people start to get petty around whatever the situation is, it looks like you won't really engage in that. So that's definitely one positive way I could see that energy playing out. But with this in the foundation, and especially with the Seven of Wands too, like I said, it usually represents successfully defending yourselves. So I did get that feeling though that whatever you're proposing to people, it might rub them the wrong way initially, but looks like this is saying that, you're not really going to engage in petty conflicts in them. You're just going to kind of state your case and let things unfold from there. I will say that given that this represents the first 10 degrees of Aquarius, we're going to have Saturn and Jupiter moving through those degrees and making square aspects with Uranus and also and Mars, for that matter, because they'll both be in Taurus in January. So could definitely be pointing to all that energy. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But yeah, it looks like you guys are in a good position to handle it the right way. Might not be the same for everyone else in your environment, but that's what I'm seeing there. All right, in the past position, we have the moon. So this could just point to, maybe you guys had some confusion around a certain situation. This could even just be pointing to the significance of the lunar cycles. So, for example, at the time I'm recording this, we haven't had that new moon eclipse in Sagittarius yet, but that's one, right? That could even be part of what gave you these new insights on how to approach things from a different way. And then toward the very end of December, we'll have the full moon in Cancer. So given that this is in the past position, it could be pointing to either of those. So definitely keep an eye out for what happens around those times. But yeah, it looks like it could just be saying, you might have lacked a little clarity around the situation. And in the present position, we have the Hanged Man reverse. So to me, this represents that again. I feel like there might have been a time where you weren't quite sure which way you wanted to go, but now I see a little bit of more confidence in your approach and feeling comfortable and confident in saying, hey, this is the way I want to do things. And yes, like I said, there definitely could be some opposition to it initially, but looks like you guys have actually taken the time to think things through. It's not something that you're just doing on a whim. I feel like this is something you gave some significant thought to, maybe even figured out, okay, what could possibly go wrong with it, what could go right, and weighing the pros and the cons and making your decision. So to me, this looks like this is just pointing to that same energy that you seem to be ready to move, but your environment maybe not as willing to bend in that regard. In the near future position, we have the Eight of Wands. So to me, the good thing here, this is Sagittarius energy. And to me, the good thing here is seeing, moving from the 7 to the 8. It's basically that general feel that I was getting, which is that, like I said, there might be some resistance to the idea initially, but with a little bit of time, looks like we actually will see that forward movement. So, like I said, it might just take people a little while to get on board. Could be as simple as maybe just throws them for a loop, right? Let's say if you're a boss or a manager in whatever area you work in, right? And you decide, all right, when we come back in January, I want to change things up a little bit. And maybe you've had employees that have been there for a really long time. And they're like, yeah, I don't know if I'm really feeling that. But again, because you might have already had the time to think it through and you've figured out, okay, what could go wrong, what could go right, and then made the decision, hey, this is definitely the best way to go. You've had a little more time to process it. Whereas for them, if you just throw it toward them out of nowhere, just keep that in mind too, basically, is what I'm saying, So it seems like you guys actually have thought this through quite a bit. But looks like others of your environment might just be hearing this for the first time. So, naturally there might be a little resistance to it, but I don't think they're doing it. And that could be what this Five of Swords in the reverse is saying too. That if you do get a little bit of pushback from people, it's not that they're trying to be this way, like they're not trying to be petty and just fight for the sake of fighting. It could just be that they haven't had enough time to wrap their minds around it. Whereas, like I said, it seems like you guys might have actually taken that time to think about it. So it could just be a matter of you guys moving at different speeds, but with the Eight of Wands in the near future, looks like everyone's going to be moving in the same direction, right? So if you think of it that way, the guy holding the wand, he has his wand going one way, everyone else has them in another direction. Here we see the unified front, right, where everything's moving in the same direction, in the forward direction. So looks like it will go well overall. This might take a little time. In the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Chariot, Cancer energy, and again, definitely shows that desire to move, right? And then the Knight of Pentacles. So basically the energy that I was just talking about there, where you're ready to move, you're ready to rock, just shoot straight out the gate. With the Knight of Pentacles beneath it, though, I feel like this is saying that, you might realize, okay, let me be a bit more measured, right? Let's make sure we do get the forward progress, but with the understanding that maybe it's not going to be at the speed we're hoping for, So that's what I'm seeing there primarily. And this could definitely be around the workplace too, because this is Virgo energy here, and for you guys, that's your 6th house of work daily routine. So that's what I'm seeing there. And again, seeing this pop up here too could definitely say that this might even be an insight you might have had around the time of the Cancer full moon, which again, at the time I'm recording this, it hasn't happened yet, but for those of you watching this in January, that would have been right toward the very end of December. So perfect example, let's say you guys had a few days off for the holidays and you're sitting around and you're thinking about, well, you know what, when we get back to work, I think we could try to approach this problem from this angle. You think it through for a few days, come back into work ready to roll, right? Then people might be like, wait a minute, why would we change things up, So it could just be something like that, just a practical example of how it could play out. All right, and the position of the environment's influence on a situation, we have the Death card. So really, again, I feel like this is pointing to a couple of different things. One is the fact that, like I said, it looks like you guys are ready to just shift into a different direction. And this could just represent, with the Death card, that this is something that has been in place for a long time. So it could seem like you guys are bucking tradition in a certain way. And that could also be, again, pointing to the reluctance of those in your environment to actually let it go, So just try to be a little bit patient and understanding that, hey, all right, this is something that we've been doing for a long time. Now I'm telling them, hey, let's do it a totally different way. It's going to be some resistance to it, but it looks like eventually they will be fine with moving forward on that. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Three of Cups, which is Cancer energy, and the Lovers, which is Gemini energy. So I'm going to assume these are both hopes because they're definitely pretty positive cards, and it could just be saying that you're hoping to be celebrated regarding these decisions. You're hoping that your communication regarding whatever these changes are, that they'll be perceived in the right way. Like I said, I definitely feel that resistance might be coming your way from it, but ultimately you're hoping that people realize, hey, we're doing this for everyone's good. Hopefully we'll get on board and realize, okay, this is actually something that's going to help move things forward in a much more positive way. So that's what I'm seeing there. For some of you, if this could possibly be around a romantic relationship, I'm really not picking up on that here, but with these two cards, it's at least possibly on your minds, and if that's the case, it could be a similar thing where, you might possibly come back to someone from your past, or even if it's just someone new, you might just catch them off guard with your approach, and there might be a little resistance on their part, but again, like I said, give it a little bit of time, and it looks like they'll come around. And in the outcome position, we have the Strength card, which is a Major Arcana card for Leo, and Justice, which is the Major Arcana card for Libra. So, two really good cards to see in the outcome position. The Strength card here could just be saying that for you guys, again, like I said, you guys just might be operating at a different speed than others right now. And that might have to be something you keep in mind, Mars finally will be leaving your sign right after the first week of January, give or take a couple days. So, most of the month it'll be in Taurus, but this could just be saying, you might feel that final push as Mars is finally making the end of its transit through your sign after the retrogrades and making all those crazy aspects with the things that were in Capricorn at the time. And now you could just be ready to hit the ground running because of that, whereas others might be a little more sluggish and a little bit more resistance, but this is resistant rather. But to me, this is saying that, just try to keep your cool, stay calm, say what you need to say, try to make sure it's done in a good way, and then you will see that balance. People will meet you halfway, so it might take a little time, but it looks like this is saying that they will come on board with your plans. And try to see if anything else comes to mind with that. Yeah, I feel like that's primarily what it's saying there. Definitely state your case, but also try to be a little bit patient and give people a little bit of time to process what you're proposing. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Five of Wands. So this is at the very least the possibility for how things could go, right? If there's a big change being made, everyone might want to throw their ideas around, and could get into a bit of a competitive environment. But I feel like this is saying, given the overall energy of the cards, it looks like it'd be fairly short-lived. And underneath that, we have the Three of Wands, which to me is kind of saying that I feel like this is you really saying, you put out there whatever your idea is, let people figure it out amongst themselves, say, all right, well, I said my piece, I'm going to let them figure out what they want to do, and just let those things come to you. So that's what I'm seeing there. All right, moving on to the Oracle cards. First, we have a change in the wind, and it actually came up in reverse. So there's the artwork for it there. Let me put it in the upright so you can see it. And the number is 12. And interestingly enough, actually, I didn't realize that before, but this is 12. It came up in reverse, just like the Hanged Man, which is also 12 in the Major Arcana, came up in reverse. So there could definitely be a connection there. But when it comes up in reverse, there's a protection message for that. So I'll just read that. See what it says. Okay, it says, there are conditions brewing in your life you have no control over. Don't fight them. Change is inevitable and is for the best, for the higher good. Even if this storm blows away the structures you think you've built your dreams on, all will turn out as it should be. You will have a renewed clarity and strength to do something even better. Spirit is your ally. So, an interesting message there, hearing that from a different perspective. So, for some of you, it could be you guys who are the ones that might be resisting some change coming your way. So, that could totally be, I might have just read that in the reverse then. No pun intended, given that the card's in reverse. Meaning that it could be maybe changes are being brought your way. And you might be the ones who are a bit resistant to it because you've been doing a certain thing for the same way forever. So keep that in mind too. It could be that way. Really, for the majority of you, I was still feeling it that initial way where you guys are the ones who are proposing change. But if it is the other way around, that could be what this chariot is pointing to as well, which is to say, with that Knight of Pentacles, you might reluctantly do so. You might want to totally go in another direction, but you might finally just say, okay, I'll go with that. So, something to keep in mind there. That was interesting to see that, though. All right, and we had two oracle cards that came up from the next deck. First, we have Frog Spirit. It says clear out the clutter. There is the artwork, and the number is 28. Okay, it says Frog Spirit knows that while all the other frogs are croaking away, this is a time for you to simplify and declutter your life so you can feel content on your own lily pad. Even when life isn't creating a total cacophony, we can become drawn to the excitement of lots of noise. Then, the next thing we know, our schedules and homes are cluttered with commitments we regret making and objects taking up valuable space. Even relationships need decluttering, as they often become messy. Frog Spirit appears to tell you to clean house, prioritize what you need, and get rid of or give away the rest, so you can have some space in your day and in your head. You don't need the old stuff that is and its stories shouting at you about the past. Along with physical clutter, friendships are sometimes kept long past their expiration date, weighing you down with unnecessary baggage. Now is the time to let go. Whatever you need will appear when you need it, so release your grip on all that clutter that is making you feel anxious and burdened. Frog Spirit wants you to reclaim your space unencumbered by shoulds, oughts, and could have beens. Let go and jump. You are free from all that old stuff. So yeah, definitely an interesting message there too. And now the more I'm reading these oracle cards, I'm feeling like that maybe I still feel like the theme is exactly what's going on, but it could just be again in the reverse, where you guys are the ones who are holding on to things and it's being changed, brought your way. So if that's the case, hopefully that resonated with you as well. And next we have Panther Spirit. It says reclaim your power. There's the artwork, and the number is 44 on that one. Okay, it says it takes courage to face challenges, and right now, Panther Spirit is here to say that you are braver than you think. Now is the time to take a risk and step into a different aspect of your being. Speak as you have never spoken before. Act as you have always dreamed you might. Have the courage to act. Love fearlessly and fully, and expect to feel the adrenaline rush as you are initiated into a new, braver, bolder self. Panther Spirit says the time for dreaming about what you want to do is giving way to that first courageous act toward reclaiming your Panther Spirit and power. Your new identity may feel strange at first, but you have what it takes, and your soul wants this. Be bold. So an interesting message there, because that message definitely seems to align with more of the first theme that I was feeling, where you guys are the ones who are actually enacting the change. So interestingly enough, I feel like if it is you enacting the change or change is being brought your way, either way, I feel like the dynamics are very similar. It's just a matter of figuring out if your energy is on the ones introducing the change or having the change introduced to you. But hopefully that resonated. And finally, we have a Mudra card. So the Mudra you guys got for this month is the Mritsanjivani Mudra, and the keyword for it is restoration. All right, and there's the info on it there if you want to pause it or take a screenshot to see what it has to say. But under benefits, it says strengthens the heart and pericardium, regulates blood pressure, improves circulation and the health of arteries and veins, awakens the spirit of self-care and self-reflection, serves as a reminder to slow down and nurture body, mind, and spirit. So if that sounds like a mudra you think would be beneficial for you guys, I will put it in the description of the video as always. Once again, hope you guys are having a good holiday season and a happy new year, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.